Yes, people, what is going on? England 3, Mexico 2 in the game of the tournament at the World Cup 2026. The greatest England performance I have ever seen in my lifetime. Oh, what a win. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Let's get into this. All the talk about this game beforehand, the altitude, the fans, the conditions, the weather, the delays, everything that was gone on, and the fact that Mexico had not conceded a goal in this tournament really does sum up where this England team is, I think. Yes, we've been frustrated previously in other games in this tournament, but this is the sort of thing that England fans can take so much pride in. The fact that we come out, we beat a better nation, and we've gone and done it in their own backyard. That was an away game of all away games, and England came through. The goals themselves, Bellingham with 2, Kane with 1 from the penalty spot. We'll go into them later on. But overall performance from England was just absolutely exceptional. Did we make it hard work at certain times? I think so, yes. And I think the other big thing to factor in is the refereeing in this game as well. I don't want to dive too much into it, but it would be wrong to not mention it at all. The refereeing was really poor, really poor. And the Mexicans, the team, the atmosphere, the environment, everyone, they're competitors, they drive, they fight, and they try and get an edge in whatever way they can. And I think the thing about this game that made it worse for England was the fact the refereeing performance was so poor, which then allowed the Mexican team to get away with what they did and throw in some of the accusations that they did, which were obviously false at certain times, you know, about a late foot in here, a handball there. They're trying to play the game. They're trying to get any advantage they possibly can. Fair enough. They're fierce competitors, and it was another thing for England to overcome. I have to be honest, and I will talk very quickly about the sending off. Of course, Jarell Quansah going off. I think it was about 10 minutes after half-time. So England essentially playing the last 40 minutes of the game or whatever it works out to with 10 men to make this job even harder for the Three Lions. The sending off is a sending off. He does get the ball, but the thing about VAR is when you slow anything down that much, everything looks worse. He does play the ball, and I think that was the thing that the official never actually looked at. It was just a case of you see the isolation of studs into shin, it looks 10 times worse. With that being said, I think if it's a yellow, it stays as a yellow. I think if it's given as a red, it's not going to be overturned. That's the problem more with VAR and about how that runs rather than the individual game itself. But England, with all the adversity and everything going on, absolutely immense from them to just puff the chests out and go again. That was all this game was. It was puff the chests out, go again. There were so many things that we thought were going to go wrong. A lot of them did go wrong, but you have to give yourself a fighting chance, and putting 3 goals in the back of the net, which we'll go on to now. But you have to score goals to win games. Mexico scored twice and it wasn't enough. I mean, you have to go and score. And England, bar the Kane penalty, did it from open play. That's the biggest takeaway from this game for me. It's not the fact that England have progressed. It's England have progressed in a tough atmosphere, but playing good football as well. The first goal was everything we've wanted to see from an England point of view for quite a while. Winger getting down the outside, putting a ball in across the box. Harry Kane in the box, waiting to get on the end of it. It doesn't get to him, so who then goes onto the back of it? Jude Bellingham gets himself sorted, diving header in. It's absolutely fantastic. That's the type of football we want to play. The goal itself is, you know, Bellingham's put the ball in the back of the net, right place, right time. That's the skill. It's not like a wow, wondrous moment, but it counts exactly the same. England looked good when attacking, and they looked like they were about to press constantly, keep going and keep going and keep going. And when we got the first goal, then the game in my eyes changed personally. It was a backs against the wall performance, come out when we can, do what we need to do, frustrate the crowd, quieten down the occasion, and then just like that, England set off a grenade in that stadium with the second goal. And Jude Bellingham, I actually, even now, I'm so tired doing this review, apologies, because of the late finish time with, again, the hour delay. I can't actually even remember who wins the ball back, apologies for that. Whoever wins the ball back in the centre of the park anyway, after Mexico have taken the kickoff, then the press to go onto it as well. Everyone pushing up, and then great pass from Harry Kane to pull the ball back across for Jude Bellingham to tuck in. Is it an own goal? Is it Bellingham's? Bellingham's going to take it, of course he is. absolutely immense. Give yourself the opportunity to create your own luck. Even if Jude Bellingham would have missed it, I feel like it's going in off a Mexico defender. Quality play from England, but the intensity to win the ball back, to go on the front foot, to make the most of the opportunity when it came our way, that is absolutely excellent. Again, the ball from Kane comes across, brilliant from Bellingham to tuck it into the bottom, into the essentially an empty net. But it's just so good to go and sucker punch this Mexico team and the fans and the occasion and everything. It was a real statement of intent, and it was like, oh my God, England are going to be immense. I had this predicted as 3-1. That was my prediction before the game. I did fancy us to go and score some goals, and I thought at 2-0, that was going to be it. I thought that was going to be enough. See it through, carry on, and then the game is going to be done and dusted. But no, of course, England give away a poor goal. I can never say the guy's name, Quineros, the guy who's been playing really well for Mexico in this tournament from the Saudi Pro League. He has gone in and just rifled a ball that has fallen to him. I think you have to maybe ask a question of Konza, but when you think about the defensive performance that England have, it doesn't feel right to call out any one particular defender. I don't think England defended particularly well. We just did it enough, and that is all that matters in games of football. But maybe you could argue that, yes, Mexico, one of the smallest teams. I think they might be the smallest team in this competition. And national average height is not very big in Mexico. Altitude probably does play a factor in that, I think, as well, just because of the geography of the country. But I think that when you've got a ball being whipped into the box, it's not been dealt with and not being attacked by someone to clear that ball out. When you're leaving it in no man's land, a strike like that past Jordan Pickford, which he had no hope in saving at all, we weren't ever really expecting any other result, were we? It's gone in, and England, in the space of, 6 minutes, went from 0-0 to 2-0 up to 2-1, and everything just got nervy. Got through to half time, did what we needed to do, and then the sending off, we've already been over it. Again, I think it probably was in hindsight. And then you start thinking about, right, England have to change the performance. England have to change what we've been doing. We can't go man for man. We can't go and push. Everything we're going to do now for the remainder of this game, we're going to have to do on the counter-attack. And then very quickly after that sending off, England knew exactly what they needed to do. And both wingers I want to give credit for. I thought Saka was really good for the first goal. It definitely looked more inviting, definitely looked more interested in the game, looked like something was going to actually happen from Bukayo Saka rather than Madueke, who we've seen out there in other times in this tournament. And Gordon was fantastic. I mean, he was so good, and he had a few where he was running in behind, stretching the defence, England creating from deeper to push the balls on in behind. Someone like Gordon to then go and stretch the game to win the penalty, and it wasn't the only time he did it in the game. And of course, Harry Kane dispatches it. Massive pressure, massive moment, and then to see out the rest of the game. Yes, I know we conceded the penalty. Harry Kane's at the other end, which I will stand by. I think in the grand scheme of it, again, if it gets given a penalty, it's never going to not get given a penalty. And when you slow everything down by VAR, it looks 10 times worse. But I actually think there's an argument to be made to the centre forward or the attacker from Mexico. The actual idea that he moves his leg rather than towards the ball, he moves it across Harry Kane, and that's how Harry Kane kicks his foot. I think that's an argument to say that saying that as well. But again, Mexico did what they needed to do. They played to the strengths the referee gave it. That's not the Mexicans' fault. That's just the way that the game was officiated and run, which again I do think was poor through large chunks of it. I just think he didn't necessarily have a hold in the game, which, to be fair, made the game better for everyone watching. But yeah, this England performance, just absolutely immense. Exactly what you want to see from this side, and a performance we can all as a nation take a hell of a lot of pride in. If England aren't going to go on and win this tournament, they are going to go and have a say in who does, I think. I really do think that this is a statement of intent from this England team, and genuinely one of the best games that I have ever seen from an England point of view. I think it's probably our greatest ever game, definitely an away fixture. I think it could be our greatest ever game that is outside of that World Cup in '66. England were just stepped up to the plate. There's nothing else I can say. They stepped up to the plate and did it unbelievably. Of course, now after the first game from yesterday, we now know we will place Norway and Erling Haaland in a quarter-final of the World Cup. Absolutely immense. Are England going to go and do it? I'm not sure. I'm not certain. I feel like this Haaland-led Norway team is very, very good, very good. And I think you don't beat Brazil without doing something right. The game itself was very level, but it was a goal scorer that made the difference. We also have a goal scorer. We can do that as well. I'm going to be very interested to see how England play. It's a completely different opposition. Norway to Mexico, you probably couldn't get two polar opposites, I would probably say. Massive, Viking-like, attackers, defenders we're going up against now. It was a lot of tricky, skillful, quick, sharp, different directions from Mexico yesterday. It's going to be such a different test, but it's one that I do think England can get through. And I tell you, the biggest result out of that game, the Norway-Brazil game, is the fact that we will not have to play Brazil, not because of the football team. The Brazilian population in Miami would have turned up massively. Miami Gardens, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. It is my home stadium for this next game for England, for a place in the semi-final up for grabs against likely Argentina or Colombia. England, unbelievable, and the whole nation is behind you if they weren't already. This is one of the greatest evenings, I think, in English football history. That's me, but fair play to anyone who had any role in that, because even the people at home, even us fans, putting in a shift that we did, everyone worked their socks off, and England can be so proud of themselves. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. England through to a quarter final in Miami Gardens.